Verona is one of my favorite little cities with a great human heart, one of the greatest. I love that wall. But I see in it this chaos absent entropy, a mob scene that hosts tranquility, madness absolved of its madness. In fact, ultimately it is the Lascaux of post-Renaissance humanity, a depiction of everything one wants, hopes for, imagines. A vision quest, an odyssey, a hallucination. An encyclopedic rendering of the human story. Your approach to physics and cosmology seems to have helped us, all those like-minded lovers who have left their anonymous traces on that wall, to connect the words, graphics, and dots in a way that I think is very important. And I wonder how you feel with respect to the word love, coming from the so-called cold vacuum of space. Perhaps I am trying to load a question in favor of humanity, so to speak. In favor of such things as biophilia, and love, and our ability as a species and as individuals to express something that may be unique in the universe, but is of the universe.
There is no such thing as a cold vacuum because there is no such thing as cold, even if the temperatures are measured and if, on the Kelvin scale, they are close to zero. In reality there is no such thing as a vacuum either. What there is a plenum, an energy plenum, an informed energy plenum. It is the information in the plenum that creates structure and coherence, and the experience that structure and coherence produces in and for us. The universe itself is neither cold nor a vacuum, it is a seething, turbulent plenum. But it is not chaotic because it is formed, or more exactly, informed. It is a wholeness created by its information.
Do you see that creation, that structuring, as a goal of evolution?
Yes, I do. The creation of coherent structures is, to my mind, the ultimate goal of evolution, and of existence itself.
Once more, Irvin. The creation of coherent structures, the cosmic hierarchy of our solar system, is not the ultimate goal of existence of our universe. Quite reversely, this creation is the precondition for the possibility to give the Earth, and the evolution of life on her, enough time to develop us ourselves, the human observers, describers, and users of the Earth resources.
On the pages of your new manuscript, I sensed a kind of structural epiphany, whose underpinnings I would perceive as an entirely new interdisciplinary science of consciousness. You briefly discussed Gerald Edelman's book, The Remembered Present, Biological Theory of Consciousness. And you wrote, and permit me to quote extensively, what I thought of as a seminal section.
If consciousness is nothing but the result of brain functions, all brain functions can be assumed to produce consciousness. Does this hold even for relatively simple or primitive brain functions? Where do we draw the line? Chimpanzees and other primates behave as if they had consciousness, something that took zoologists and other life scientists decades to admit. But do mice have consciousness? Do insects have it? That is not clear. Plants do not have anything like a brain, therefore it is clear that they do not have consciousness, nor do primitive organisms, yet complex organisms are said to have evolved from primitive lineages, and consciousness must have emerged from non-conscious foundations in the course of time. How this emergence would have taken place is not explained by the mainstream theory.
This trouble with explanation of consciousness in mainstream science underpins once more the necessity of our new paradigm definition of consciousness. It is not true that consciousness is nothing but the result of brain functions. We cannot understand our global consciousness without to understand the existence and functions of our, and of the larger animals, superbrains. Only the superbrain quanta are large enough for the inter-individual's energetic connections, which we traditionally experience as feelings.
Unquote. So this to me, Irvin, invites contemplation of the pivotal cornucopia of life within the Anthropocene, otherwise known as the sixth extinction spasm in the annals of biology. And it is the worst one in hundreds of millions of years.
Firstly, there were many more than 5 mass extinctions till now during the evolution of life on Earth. And secondly, the present one will be the largest, and the final one, independent of the level of our participation in it. The reason for it is coming soon, in several million years, the end of the running step of level 9 of our cosmic hierarchy. The life on Earth, if Earth will still exist after that, will be reduced to the level of bacteria again.
Now, you conclude your brief reflection of Edelman's book by stating, and I quote,
"The mainstream theory faces an even more basic problem along these lines. This is the hard problem of consciousness theorists. How consciousness can be produced from something that is itself not conscious. Regardless of at what point in biological evolution consciousness would emerge in the brain, when that point has been reached, something as immaterial as consciousness arises from something as unconscious as matter. How could unconscious matter produce material consciousness?"
We have just explained why this problem disappears in the new paradigm science.
Unquote. So then this is very much at the heart of your astonishing linkages of such universal pillars as Planck's constant, the unblinking, unassailable, unshakable truth surrounding the brilliant time bomb of a concept, I think, you have enshrined. And I think it is a Nobel Prize-worthy revelation, namely, coherence, from the heart of the Big Bang to your very own heart, Irvin, from the unimaginably vast reaches of the cosmos to the vivid emergence of a biosphere whose every nuance, variety, purpose, and vibration achieves that same coherence in the name of health, vibrancy, and the prospects for a harmonious future here on Earth's remaining 4 billion or so years of life. It was fascinating to me how you did that. But it leaves me with a dangling modifier, obviously. A huge dangling modifier. I mean, you have posed the question, but you have not posed the answer, to my mind.
Well observed, Michael.
Trying to suggest the answer is to suggest a new metaphysics. We can adopt among others a metaphysics in which evolution is radical emergence. I, myself, do not believe that evolution is a radical emergence. It is not something entirely new coming to be, something that simply was not there. Rather, I believe that what is coming to be is an articulation, an expression of what there was. And what there was, and still is not space and time existing separately. What there was and is information acting on energy. It is the work of logos, orientation, spirit, intelligence, whatever we may call it. This something is beyond space-time. It is itself unchanging, eternal. That is why I decided to retitle my book. First I called it Beyond Space-Time. The key to understanding what was, and is not a series of separate events happening in space and time. The higher or deeper reality is the realm, Plato called the realm of the soul, and Hindus called Akasha. This realm is the basis of everything that happens in space and time.
No, Irvin. You do not have to believe in what all traditional physicists around you are trying to present to you. It is not true that to suggest the answer is to suggest a new metaphysics. The new unified physics, the core of the new unified science, is able not only to suggest the answer, but also to present quite detailed and experimentally provable solutions. The price of it, however, is not low indeed. We have to clear and forget our traditional store of concepts and ideas, including all Nobel Prize-worthy revelations of the previous era of science.